Hi everybody, in this video we're going to review the SRAM 1x13 mechanical group set. So if this is the first time you've seen this, I actually did a video before on this and I'll link it down in the description below. But Dirk Stock out of Germany actually modified the internals of a SRAM mechanical shifter to make it 1x13. So you can check out that video. Let's get into the review and actually see how it performed out in the real world. So I've been riding this group set since July 19th. Initially when I set up the group set, I did have an issue with it shifting from the 33 tooth up to the 40 tooth, but after adjusting the B limit screw and also the chain length, it was able to shift into the 40 tooth with no issues. Now the jump wasn't as precise and as clean as some of the other gears, but it's really not enough to ditch the whole system. When I put the 1036 cassette on there with the 40 tooth, it was just as smooth as all the other gears. So I know it's that 7-tooth jump that causes the delay there. You could probably fine tune a little bit more and get a little bit better, but it's not horrible. It still gets into the 40 tooth. You just kind of have to hold the shifter a little longer. So like I said, it's not a deal breaker. Now, in all the other cogs, it feels so smooth. The jumps between the gears are perfect. It feels like you're shifting a SRAM 2x11 setup, but the shifts just keep coming on that right-hand side. In my mind, I kept thinking like, with the 11-speed cassette, you start running out of gears, and then obviously you have to shift that front derailleur to get easier gears. But this one is just, you use that right hand the whole time. It feels really, really amazing to be able to shift just from one side while you're climbing. When climbing, the gear range was perfect. The shifts were precise, like I said. The gaps between the cogs, they were not an issue. That was one thing I was a little concerned about. But, when you have like a 15 to 17% jump between gears, when you're climbing, it's not as bad as when you are riding on the flats and have a higher cadence. So it really felt perfect on the gravel and also the road as well. Now on the flats, those close one-step gap gears are amazing. That is really where the previous 11-speed cassettes in the past that were 1042, that's where they were lacking. They were lacking, having tight gear range down in the smaller cogs. So like they had a huge jump from a 10-tooth to a 12-tooth, then the 12-tooth to the 14-tooth, so you didn't have any one-tooth jumps. Now with this setup, with a 13-speed, it fills those gaps. So then you have 10-tooth, 11-tooth, 12-tooth, 13-tooth, 14-tooth, and 15-tooth. So you have a lot of one-tooth gaps, which is amazing. So at those higher speeds, I would say that the close gear range, it feels almost better than a 2x system that's obviously running a larger cassette in the back to make up for that range. So those closer gear ranges, they feel amazing. Now the throw of the lever is actually easier in my opinion when you're trying to shift to a larger cog in the rear. It seems like you don't have to shift as far, which makes sense because there's more gears in the same space. So when you click that lever, the throw is not near as much. Now I did use this setup for a gravel race, the Red Clay Ramble over in Georgia, and it worked perfectly. Now I didn't have any drop chains, the shifting was precise, did not have any misshifts, like every time I shift it would move perfectly. And once again, it's like a SRAM mechanical setup. So if you're running a SRAM 11-speed now, that's how it feels. All right, so now I finished that race in 5th place, did very well in the race. The race didn't have huge climbs, like long climbs, but it definitely had some steep, punchy climbs. So like I said, the group set worked perfectly in that situation. Now I have since put on a CX1 11-speed narrow wide chainring on it because I switched to a D0 power meter because I had to send my pedals off to get them recalibrated and all that stuff. So I was really concerned, but I actually had no issues with the axis chain. It was a little tight at first, but you know, it actually ran perfectly. So if you want to, you can actually just use an old 11-speed narrow wide chainring. Now I also spoke with Dirk, and he said that he has used 12-speed mountain bike chains from SRAM and KMC on this setup, and it shifted perfectly. He did say that the 12-speed KMCs for some reason run a little louder than the SRAM, so he actually will use the SRAM 12-speed chains instead. The benefits of using some of those chains, you would not have to change your chainring out up front, obviously, if you already have 11-speed narrow wide. You also would not have to modify your pulleys on the CX1 rear derailleur. So if you're, if that's holding you back from this group set, you can actually just run a different chain. Also, an advantage too, it gives you a little more mud clearance between the cogs and the chain when you run that 12-speed mountain bike. I know some people who have ridden Axis in mud have had issues with the tight gearing and the tight chain, that sometimes the chain will come off because the chain is so tight onto the teeth. Now you cannot run a Shimano 12-speed mountain bike chain, and that's because the 12-speed Shimano mountain bike is not compatible with the SRAM 12-speed mountain bike or road. Shimano did something a little bit different with their chain and their teeth, so they're not compatible, unfortunately. Now I'm about to install this group set on a Pivot Vault gravel bike that I'm going to do some testing on, and we'll be riding it throughout the winter and see how it works. And I have not had any excessive chain wear or cassette wear since installing it. I plan to do a midterm review maybe in a month or so, and then I do plan on doing a long-term review as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you could hit that subscribe button, it would help the channel out tremendously. If you have enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and comment, and thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.